Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be continuing our series where we talk about every single character in Rivals of Aether 2 and my first impressions of them, and today's video is going to be on Ranno. So first things first, we got to talk about Ranno's gimmick, which is going to be the poison and the bubble. Starting off with the poison, the way that it stacks is based off just getting hit by poison moves, which are going to be up B, neutral, special, all of the smash attacks, and the special pummel, with the smash attacks adding 2 charges and the special pummel adding all 4 charges to the poison meter, I guess you would call it, but really it's just 4 charges of poison, and you take residual damage over time. Now, it's not that much. It's like 1% every like 4 seconds or something, maybe a little bit more than that, but editing proof block. I just wanted to make the distinction that the poison damage is actually not based off a timer, but instead it ticks you every single time that you do an attack. So if you are very patient against the Ranno play, you could end up taking 0 residual damage. You just got to land that first hit. But if you are mashing, playing like a Roy player swinging with the ghost, that residual damage is definitely going to add up. You're not taking a ton of damage here, though of course it does add up over time, and the way that you get rid of poison is either by hitting Ranno or by getting put into the bubble yourself. And this is where we get to part B of the mechanic and the more important part of the mechanic, which is, of course, the bubble. Now, you have complete control over the bubble at all times because down B literally just gives you control of the bubble. You can put it wherever you want. So the bubble is essentially a steep block that you get to put literally wherever you want, both aggressively and defensively, because if you get hit into the bubble, presumably it's going to be to save your life. Maybe you put it off stage and it saves you from a really heavy smash attack. Now, you're still in a disadvantage, but hey, at least you survived all of that knockback, or it could be against your opponent as well, and just putting them into the disadvantage, and depending on how many stacks of poison they have, they're going to be in the bubble for a longer amount of time. So if you get someone in the bubble with like 3 or 4 stacks of poison, you're going to be getting like 40 to 30% just from your bubble combos, assuming they don't have like really good DI to actually like escape, because you do have a pretty decent amount of control when you are in the bubble, but nothing that's going to allow you to fully escape a certain amount of damage. You're definitely still going to be taking a hit there. It really is just like, what hit am I going to take? Is this going to end with a back air, or is this going to end with like a down smash? That's really the decision that you have as the player in the bubble. So the bubble is a very strong, both aggressive and defensive tool for Ranno, and I haven't even talked about how it can be used to recover yet, which is like arguably the most important thing that it does. So the bubble can put your opponents in jail for free damage and positioning, even leading to a kill in certain situations. They can also be used to save you from a massive hit, but arguably the most important use of the bubble is going to be as a recovery tool, because Ranno's aerial mobility actually isn't that good, but you probably never notice because he is a race car after he side Bs that bubble. You literally hit Mach 1 and instantly arrive at whatever destination you were hoping to go, and if it happens to be the wall, you could then put another bubble below you and use down air to stall off of that bubble. Now, it should be noted that every time you use down B off stage, you do fall faster. It's like Shine in that sense, but what I'm trying to say here is that Ranno has a lot of offstage longevity because of the bubble. He just has so many different ways where he is able to stall offstage and ensure that he mixes up your timing so you aren't able to edgeguard him, because I'll get to this a lot more in the cons, but without the bubble, I do think that Ranno's recovery would be a very big issue for him, and the control that he has over it just makes it so he has so much creative potential offstage. We just talked about how side B can be used as a movement tool off stage. Well, wait till you hear about this move on stage, because this is what gives Ranno the best movement in the game, and it's not even close, to be honest. Like, Orcane is the only one who even is like in contention for this title alongside Ranno, because side B not only gives you an insane amount of just vertical, or rather horizontal burst, but you also have neutral special, which allows you to instantly B reverse and then cancel the neutral special, so it's effectively just a free B reverse. So when you combine those two things, you have a frog that you just simply cannot catch, and that's not even me being funny. The movement of this character is like actually unbelievable. He's literally a race car zipping from one side of the stage to the other, and then side B as a move itself is just like also very good because it's just such a massive command grab, and if you miss it both off stage and on stage, you are almost guaranteed to be punished, but it's like a really hard move to miss. If you think your opponent is going to run it against you literally at all, you press that side B button. Unless they're ready to parry, they're probably going to pick something defensive, and it just stretches out so far, grabs them in, and then you get to do whatever you want with them off of the bubble. But when you combine this with the movement of Ranno, this cross-stage command grab is so much more threatening because you don't know where Ranno is going to be. He could be in the middle of the stage, he could be at the left side of the stage, the right side of the stage, literally all within an instant, and you have no idea of how to predict that. It's just so unbelievably broken. And when you combine that with his already amazing ground speed, it makes up for his aerial speed. You really do not notice that Ranno's aerial speed isn't great because whenever he's in the air, he's zipping around from side B, and whenever he's on the ground, he's already a race car. Editing proof block, there's one movement option that I forgot to mention for Ranno, and that's going to be using his up B to actually ledge cancel, and it's not that difficult to do, and it gives you so much more mobility, once again, because that's what Ranno needed, right? More mobility, but you're coming to the ground at this 30, 45 degree angle with an active hitbox out, and then once you hit the ground, you are immediately active to do whatever you want. It's just yet another way that Ranno is able to maneuver the stage that's just so strong. The next thing I want to talk about are going to be Ranno's darts or his needles. I'm going to be probably using those interchangeably throughout the video, but as a projectile themselves, they're just like really annoying to deal with. They deal residual damage over time. They come at this super pesky angle, and they just stop you in your tracks like a Falco laser, but more importantly, they are a very strong combo tool, effectively acting as Sheik needles, though it does act a little bit different when you charge them. Ranno sends his in a volley instead of Sheik, where he just sends them all in the same place, but charging up the needles is still going to make it easier to combo opponents just because they're going to get clipped by the second or the third needle, and you can do pretty much everything that Sheik can do, except you're not going to get that direct connection into up smash. At least I haven't been able to, but it's very easy to get your needles into down tilt, into that direct connection into up smash. But a thing that Ranno is able to do that Sheik isn't able to do, I guess she makes up for this with bouncing fish, but what Ranno does is he does needles into forward air, or needles into, like, you know, whatever aerial he wants, but forward air should be the aerial because number one, that thing is super strong, number two, it has a spike, and number three, you know, it just makes sense because you throw the needle at them, presumably you would be looking at your opponent. But off stage, you clip your opponent's jump, you immediately hit them with a forward air, they're dead. Even if you didn't clip your opponent's jump, if they just get hit by a dart, they're very likely not going to be making it back because that forward air just hits so incredibly strong. That specific combo is just so potent, and as I've already mentioned, you have so many more movement options because of the immediate B reverse that you get with the needles, and you can immediately cancel the needles as well. So you can just do B reverse into I'm going to throw needles, or B reverse into I'm just going to sit there, or I'm going to immediately do an aerial. Literally, the world is your oyster with the Ranno needles. That makes the neutral so much better for the character. It makes his combo so much stronger, and most importantly, it makes his movement way better. And the final pro that I have for Ranno, and this is definitely the least significant one, but it is still something that you should mention, is going to be his kill power. I think Ranno's got pretty good kill power, but the reason that he's got good kill power is because he has so many different ways that he can approach taking your stock, whether it be out of the bubble, just hitting the timing on you coming out of the bubble, or reacting to the tech chase off of a dart confirm, off of a down tilt confirm, off of a grab confirm, or even just a raw hit in neutral with moves like forward air, off, or even on stage. Forward smash is also an amazing smash attack, one of the best ones in the game in my opinion, because Ranno pulls back before he does it and he slams you forward with this really strong move. There's also a projectile that can be attached to it if you charge it up all the way. That is incredibly strong, though you have to be pretty lazy to get hit by it as the opponent, but you get what I'm trying to say here. Ranno's just so many different ways that he can approach the stock, just like he has so many different ways that he can approach the neutral. Now that we've talked about the pros of Ranno, it's time to talk about the cons, and I really only have one that I want to mention, and that is going to be his aerial mobility, which I alluded to earlier, but because his aerial mobility is so lackluster, there are times that you are able to just escape Ranno's advantage state in the air because he's just simply not able to catch up with you. Normally in the neutral, in the disadvantage state, this isn't really that big of an issue because side B and his ground speed just makes up for it, but you do notice it when Ranno is trying to pressure his opponents in the air, and you also really notice it when he is trying to recover without the bubble. There are certain characters, Crag, Forestburn, that have projectiles that can actually hit the bubble, so it is unable to be side B from Ranno, and after he misses his side B on the bubble, terrible spot, almost always going to be dying there because your up B doesn't give you a ton of vertical and horizontal distance. It's not a bad recovery by any means, but it is something that is definitely easy to intercept, and it's way easier to intercept when you kind of know where Ranno is going to be roughly based off his aerial mobility. So once you eliminate that bubble off stage, it eliminates all of his extra movement, and he kind of becomes a sitting duck. So with all of that being said, how good do I think this character is? And as you can probably tell, I think Ranno's very good. Everyone in Rivals 2 is good, but even within Rivals 2, Ranno is a good character. If I had to put him somewhere specifically on the tier list, I would put him as the 4th or 5th best character in the game. Just the amount of creativity that you have when it comes to taking the stock, when it comes to your combos, when it comes to just moving around the stage, Ranno is a character that just has so many options at his disposal. And with that, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this sport. It's been absolutely unreal as late. If there's anything I left out, got wrong, or if you just want to say hi, leave a comment down below. Be sure to sub while you're down there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.